Like if the flight school promises, let's say 9 months, then you should consider another 3 to 4 months at
Definitely.
least.
Hmm.
If you are promised 1 year, then another 3 to 4 months for the least. Because all these challenges and all the initial, admin work, ground work, or
Hmm.
unforeseen delays or unprecedented delays, these are not really catered for. The timing which was given by flight school is hello, everyone. Welcome to Pilot Podcast, India's number one podcast for pilots and for aspiring pilots who are doing their flight training or their ground training. This is a place where we would discuss all the intricacies, all the challenges, and the solutions that we can, give from our experiences and that can benefit you. So, welcome to episode number 82 of Pilot Podcast.
Welcome everyone to episode number 82. In episode 80, we had discussed about the struggles of aspiring pilot when they choose pilot as a career. What all struggles do they face, especially from family, the finance, the pathway. So we had discussed everything related to aspiring pilot that. And today we have Captain Neha with us after a couple of episodes. So we
Yes.
are going to discuss about the struggles of student pilot during their flight training phase. So as Captain Neha, I've done a training in India and I have done it from the US. So we both have our fair shares of struggles to share it with you, so that when you go for your pilot training or when you go for your flight training, you will face this similar struggles and how you can handle them.
Yes. So, by making a decision to choose a certain flight school which has minimal number of struggles will minimize this particular
Hmm.
situation where you might have to experience certain delays, but it cannot be completely ruled out. There
Mhm.
is no flight school in the world where you will have absolute zero delays or
Mhm.
absolute no struggles. That is a myth. Okay, that
Yes.
doesn't happen. Okay, so there are struggles or delays with respect to various aspects or with respect to
Mhm.
various reasons which we are going to discuss here, and those reasons from your level, from our level, as well as from the flight school end, we try that it is the least. Okay, so we don't end up choosing a flight school which has less aircraft, which experiences see bad weather conditions all time in a year. So that particular flight school we would avoid choosing so that those delays are minimized, but you can't completely rule them out from your entire training period. Okay, so we are going to discuss the flight training your challenges that you might experience, or some of them you may experience during your flight training.
And while discussing these things, we'll be discussing the challenges which we face during a flight training.
Yes.
You may or may not face those challenges. That is very, I would say, situational. And in case you do face such challenges, you should be aware about. That's the reason why we are discussing it.
Correct.
Okay. And every flight school has their own pros and cons. Like there is no flight school which has only pros.
Correct.
There'll be cons as well, because the operations is so huge and there are a lot of factors which has to run in a correct way for the smooth functioning of the flight school.
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, so starting with the struggles or the challenges.
Right.
So let's say I did my training in the US, and
Correct.
the first struggle was adjusting to the surrounding.
Correct.
So now, let's say until my 12th and then engineering, I was staying at my home. So there were parents to cook food for me, take care of me.
Correct.
I didn't have to look at the groceries. Okay, what
Correct,
is there,
correct,
what
correct,
is not
correct,
there
correct.
tomorrow, what will I be eating?
Correct.
So everything was taken care. by my parents related to finances as well. Like, let's say if my pocket money is so and so amount, so how much will I be spending on eating, on
Correct,
leisure,
correct,
on
correct,
like
correct.
spend or buying clothes or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
But now when I move to a new country, I have to keep that finances check whether I am exceeding my budget or no,
Correct,
because if I
correct.
exceed my budget, I have to again call them and
Correct,
ask for
correct,
more money.
correct,
Okay,
correct, correct.
so that is away from home. So when we move outside of our home, it's like outside our comfort zone. For the first month, it becomes very difficult to manage everything, because I remember when I landed in US. So firstly, we moved to an apartment. We have to set up everything,
Absolutely.
and then let's say you're sharing it with the roommates as well.
Correct, correct.
So everyone has different meal preferences. So you go to a supermarket, you buy groceries for the meals you planned for the whole week.
Correct, correct.
Okay, and then you have to wake up at certain time before you have to report at the flying school. So
Correct.
for me, it was like there was a bus service which was from the apartment to the school, and the bus was every 90 minutes.
Okay.
So according to your reporting time, you have to catch the bus. If you miss the bus, then you have to wait 90 minutes, and then the
that's
next
a
bus
long
comes.
period,
Yeah.
okay.
So let's say 9 o'clock is my reporting. So I have
Correct.
to wake up at around 7:30, take shower,
Correct,
prepare my
correct.
meal,
Right.
and then prepare my lunch box as
Right,
well for
right,
the flight
Correct,
school.
correct, correct.
So that's how I used to plan my day. And that was very challenging in the beginning.
Correct.
But once you get a hang of it, it becomes easy.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Later on, I got a car. I and Nilay, we both got our
Correct,
cars.
correct, correct.
And initially, the first 2 weeks, there is also a jet lag effect.
Right.
So you sleep during the day and wake up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and you don't know what to do. And you fall asleep
True, true,
by
true.
the evening.
Because you were in
Yeah.
US, so it takes one day to cope up with 1 hour of
Okay.
change in time zone.
Okay.
So 12 hours, so you would take 12 days
Okay. That's
to
a lot.
cope
Yeah.
up with the change in time zone.
Hmm. Because the
So
thing was like
absolutely.
12 days is a long period, because once we land within 2 days, our ground school starts at the flying
Correct,
school. So
correct,
we have
correct,
to be back to the
Correct.
US timings, like the morning and the night times.
Absolutely, yeah. So great. So that was your beginning of the
Yeah.
flight training journey. So back in time, I mean, for me, it's been 2 decades. I mean, when I think of it, I'm like, oh shit, am I getting so old that, it's been 2 decades for me to, since I have started my flight training in 2006. So it took whatever 1.5 year to complete it. And so back in 2006, the same thing. After 12th, I was, for the first time stepped out of home. And that time when I went to the flight school, things were like we were put in a hotel over there. So I did my flight training in India itself. That was in Baramati. And we were put in a hotel. And there, once in a day only, the bus used to come to pick us up.
Okay.
So everybody had to get in that bus, and thereafter, at a particular time, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we have to be ready by that time. But here in India, generally the things are little easy with respect to food and all, because there is canteen at flight school, as well as lunch. You get it in the flight school itself. At most of the flight schools, again, it depends on place to place. And so the food part was not much of a hassle, but yeah, like adjusting to the new environment was the issue. And considering the number of aircraft, when I went, there were only 6 aircraft and there were 100 plus students. And it was like the school was flooded, because there was a lot of demand for pilots at that time, back in 2006. And because of which many students started fleeing into this profession of getting into pilot training and becoming a pilot. So because of that, the challenge was the instructor to student ratio, as well as aircraft to student ratio. That was absolutely not matching. So that was the reason why there was slight delay initially, and then thereafter there was a new rule which had come up that before you fly for 50 hours you cannot write the DGC exams. So because of that, I had to do those first 50 hours,
Okay.
then clear the DGC exams, and thereafter again go for remaining 150 hours of flight training. So in that initial days when I went, that time it was winter time. Again, winter time the visibility is a little on a lower side. So in the morning, if the visibility is low, then you cannot fly. Plus, depends on the place to place. If you do flight training in north of India, then fog is a major concern, because of which VFR flights. So VFR flights is flights which use the visual flight rules and then perform flights. That means they need to look at the ground features and then perform the flight. Let's say for circuit and landing or for cross country flying. Cross country means you go from one place to other, which is beyond 100 nautical mile radius from place of departure. So that's cross country. So you need to be able to see the ground features in order to perform or conduct the flight. But if the visibility is low because of any reason, maybe it is because of fog, because of haze, or because of rain or snow, whatever. So in that case, you cannot perform a flight, because if to perform a flight in those conditions, you need instrument rating, which comes much later in your flight training.
Mhm.
So initially it is only based on visual flight rules, because of which you must be, in sight with the ground features. So because of that, most of the flight schools in north of India, the flight training there gets affected due to fog in winter. If you consider south of India, then in monsoon season, that is in, from June, July, August, September, in these seasons, because of rain, the flight training can get affected. And abroad, again, it depends on where you do your flight training. There can be, uh, thunderstorms or tropical revolving storms, etc. Depending on that, the weather can, be a constraint for your flight training. So these are the factors. Plus, if in case, as I said, so these are the initially I had
Mhm.
issues with the number of aircraft and number of instructors, number of too many students at the flight school. So this was the initial part which I faced, difficulty with.
Yes. So eventually, this all factors will lead to delays.
Yes, yes.
So for us, let's say we were training in Florida, so the weather starts getting bad from the month of, let's say, May end. So June, July, August, 3 months you can fly, but IFR flying is preferable. VFR only morning flights is there. After that, you have the build up
Right,
of clouds,
Correct,
so you
correct.
can't do VFR cross country. You can just do
Correct,
patterns or something like that.
Correct.
And then September is the peak of hurricane season. So this 4 months the weather gets bad. So due to weather disruptions there can be delays, okay, which is not avoidable. You like whatever the rule says, the minimas we have to follow, and just to be a bit safe we have a personal minima. So at our flight school there was something called as personal
Crew
minima.
minima.
Yeah. So that is like with added margin. So let's say
Okay.
if 1500 meters is the visibility required, we would have around 2000 meters.
Okay, plus.
Like that. So it was like, so it was given by the instructors. They taught us how to take a minima for ourselves. Okay. So delays at a flight school, weather delays is unavoidable. Everyone goes through it. But yeah, my instructor told me treat weather as God. Okay, never go against it.
Correct.
And till date I follow that statement. Second training delay would be because of the maintenance issues at the flight school. So we had a fleet of around 80 to 100 aircraft at the flight school, and every aircraft used to be flying the whole day. So at any given point of time, due to some incident or let's say a bird strike or anything, or the engine replacement, whatever the C checks that were the 100-hour check, then the 2000-hour, I don't remember the exact name, what that maintenance check is called, but the aircraft has to go through it. So let's say if 3 to 5 aircrafts in a same day goes down, then
for maintenance.
Yeah, for maintenance, then it will be difficult to schedule everyone for that particular day. So in that way, the training of the students will be a bit slower during that phase, and that phase can be for 1 or 2 months until the aircrafts are back. So that delay of training is due to maintenance.
Correct.
And then we have instructor unavailability, we have check instructor unavailability. So when we do our CPL, okay, at the end of the course, the end of course was done by our in-house check instructors, flight school instructors, and then at the end of CPL we had an FA examiner to take that. Now if that particular FA examiner is on leave, then we'll be delayed. Or if there are people, or if there are students ahead of me who are waiting for the CPL check and are not able to complete due to weather, then the queue is long. So then the delay is there. And then again, let's say the normal instructor, like who gives us the normal day-to-day lessons. So when they get experience around 1,000-1,500 hours, they get an ATPL. Okay. And then when anyone leaves is not certain. So whenever anyone gets their dream airline job, they leave. That's how it used to work in the US. So now who leaves when is not decided. So let's say if one instructor leaves, then someone to take his position will take around 1 to 2 months. Okay. So then there is an instructor unavailability in that place, which will slow the training down. So that is also a delay which is not expected by the flight school. Okay. So generally, due to all these factors which are not in the flight school control, the course duration extends beyond the promised timeline. Sometimes most of the students are able to complete within the timeline provided, or a little 10% more time than what is quoted. But if there are significant weather delays, maintenance, anything, it can take more than that.
Correct.
But whenever you go for your flight training, let's say if the flight school is giving you 12 months, you can complete in 12 months, but it can take a bit longer. So just be prepared for it. So these are all the factors due to which training delays may occur, and it is not precise when which delay can occur. So this is one of the major challenge or struggles that student get during their flight training. And people, when you go to the flight school, on the day one you want to start flying. Okay, I was like that. I want to fly that aircraft today only. Okay, but it took me a month to get on the controls, because there was like I need to apply for the AEP, I need to go to the ground school, and then certain formalities, and then I go on the controls. Correct. So that's how it was.
Absolutely. And flight school has said in 6 months I will finish. So 6th month I should be done. It doesn't happen like that. Like if the flight school promises, let's say 9 months, then you should consider another 3 to 4 months at least. If you are promised 1 year, then another 3 to 4 months for the least. Because all these challenges and all the initial, admin work, ground work, or unforeseen delays or unprecedented delays, these are not really catered for. The timing which was given by flight school is, the optimistic timing if these delays do not happen, or there has been absolute streamlined process, then it is possible. But we should not count on that time exactly. We should absolutely, add at least 3 to 4 months in, on the top of whatever is the promised timeline. So that would again cause increase in your accommodation cost. That will cause increase in your food expenses. So these need to be added. So that needs to be kept in mind, and you should not just keep very much a borderline budget of what has been quoted. because apart from these weather maintenance, when the student is undergoing training, first of all, it is very, very important that you are extremely dedicated to your flight training, and every day you improve your skills. How can you do that? By doing chair flying. Like, let's say you can put the poster or the picture of your cockpit, which of whatever aircraft you are going to fly, and that once you keep that in front of you in your study room, then you need to practice. Okay, let's say we will be doing the cockpit preparation when you enter the cockpit, so you will be doing that particular checklist, and so those things you need to do it by memory. You don't have a manual in front of you which you will read and then do it. Okay, for emergency, yes, you can refer to the manual, but that also there are certain memory items which you need to know, and certain things which you have to read and do it. But apart from that, the routine normal procedures, you have to know it by memory, so that you will need to do it multiple times. I would say in a day 30-40 times. Then maybe you will be as you go further, as you are okay with the normal procedures, then you will be practicing instruments. Then so this you have to keep doing, and keep improving every other day. So skills need to be improved by your end with the help of an instructor. If if in case, let's say, someone is struggling with the flare and landing, then you can take help from the instructor. You can ask him what is going wrong and what thing needs to be done in order to make it right. If in case one day in calm wind, if you're able to do it, great. If in case next day it's gusty weather, then things again are more challenging. If there are crosswind, strong crosswind, then you have to again, improve your skills. So in different weather conditions, the techniques can vary, and you need to implement that, and for which you have to have persistent, determination to improve your skills all the time. So that is very important. And one day you had a bad landing does not mean it's the end of the world. It can happen. Whoever you see on social media who are experienced pilots, they had their set of challenges during their training. So the training is never, without any hassles or without any challenges. At some or the other phase, no one can land the airplane well on the first time. You getting the controls and okay, you're good. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It comes after a lot of practice and a lot of, experience. So once that builds up, you will be fine. But the one who is absolutely negligent and not doing any practice at home, or not doing any chair flying, not visualizing the situations, will have a difficulty, and then it's a challenge.
Yes, landings would be a major challenge for the students who are doing their flight training, especially the initial phase when you just start flying, just learn how to fly the aircraft.
Correct.
The controls and everything, once you are in the air, you can do a good steady rate turn, your steep turn, stall. That is all procedure based. You 2, 3, 4 times you do it, you will be good at it. You just need to revise the procedures, and like you said, chair flying, if you chair fly the procedure, it will become very easy. But landing is something which only comes with experience. You do 15 landings, 20 landings, 25 landings, then you get good at it, provided you are taking feedback from your instructor and improving with every landing. So that's how the landing is improved. And once you get that confidence that you can land an aircraft, that's when the fun of flying the aircraft begins. Okay. And then there is something called as crosswind landing. So there are 2 techniques. You either crab and come to land, or you use the aileron and you slide slip. Yeah. So depending on what the instructor teaches you, you just follow. Both the techniques will be taught to you. Whichever is comfortable to you, you can select it. And once you learn how to do crosswind landings, then it becomes more fun, because that would be a challenge. That landing would be a challenge. Okay. And once you land that aircraft in the crosswind landing, your confidence goes up. So with every landing, your confidence goes up, and then at the, let's say, 100-hour mark, you will be confident in and out of the aircraft.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then initially, when we uh, go for our first flight, it's generally a joy flight. So the instructor
Flies the plane.
he flies the plane, does the RT. We are just there,
To
relaxing, observing the view. We are like, wow, this is the best. This is the best thing. Okay. And then on the second flight, if the instructor asks you, okay, last flight I gave a call at the hold short point. So can you please give a call to the ATC? Okay, so that's when things start to get difficult. Okay, I need to do this as well. It's not just the view. I'm not here to look outside. Okay, I need to learn from the instructor. So RT is also a challenge initially. Like, you don't know what to say at certain points. Let's say for clearance there's a specific call, for taxi there's a specific call, then getting familiarized with the airport, and then tower approach. Okay, so that all things also comes with experience. But work can be done on ground for RT as well. Okay. And then sometimes it's difficult to interpret what the ATC is telling you, because the words which they use, sometimes you may be hearing for the first time, but with experience RT also is done. So you'll be confident overall only if you work on the feedback given by instructor and improve with every flight.
So I've seen some students consider that I will prepare for my DGCA exams along with the flight training. But to tell you honestly, flight training is completely a different ball game, for which you need to put in your 100% time and dedication and effort upon the basis of knowledge which you have gained from the DGCA theory subjects. Okay, so that particular thing, my strong advice would be to clear it before going for flight training. All the subjects, if you have cleared, then you don't have that mental pressure of clearing it later or alongside, because you have the knowledge and you can implement it in flight training, which makes things little simpler, because that is the implementation of knowledge. RTR is a subject which now DGCA has started conducting from 2026 onwards, and because of that, once you have cleared your RTR as well, you can make calls to the air traffic controller in a more simpler manner and without any challenge or hassle. You don't have to learn RT again at the time of flight training separately, because you have already studied it before. That is one thing. If in case along with flight training you try to clear your DGCA exams, you will neither be able to clear them properly, nor you will be able to focus properly on flight training.
Yes, and that has happened with one of the students as well. So he got in touch with me through YouTube videos, and he was struggling to clear his exams while doing his flight training. So when I discussed about how is he preparing, so after his flight, let's say he was doing his training in India, and in India generally you report early morning, like 7 a.m. and you sit at the flight school and you wait for your turn for the flights. Okay, so he used to be from 7 until 5 at the flight school, and then once he come back to his hostel, he was tired to even study. So in that tired phase, whatever he could study, he could just revise it for 1-2 hours and then just sleep. So that was his state. And what happened was, let's say whenever the DGCA exam is, so your flying base is far away from the exam center. So he had to take the bus to the city, like which would take a day to travel, and then he has to reach one day before the exam just to make sure he doesn't miss that attempt. And then he stays there for 1 to 2 days, and then he comes back again to the base. So now 1 week of the time is gone. So it's like a break in flying. And before even that thing, he again take 1 week off from the flight school to prepare for the DGCA exam. So now there's a 2-week break from the flying. He has not prepared for the DGCA exams properly. He is going to attempt for the exam, and then he comes back and he resumes flying. So when he resumes flying, he is not that proficient for flying, so he takes a review flight to get back to what level he was before, because now we are learning to fly an aircraft. We are not experienced. If we were experienced, we come and one flight we are done.
Correct.
Okay, but when we are learning, we need that continuous flights, within a week 2-3 flights to reach or to learn new maneuvers,
Absolutely.
landings and all of those things. So now that student, like, he did not clear the exam because he lacked preparation. Then he went traveling, maybe he was tired something, and then he came back. So 2 weeks is gone. He didn't
Correct.
clear the exam. He was not proficient for flying, so he had to take review flights.
Absolutely.
So all these challenges came up. So now when any student comes, we definitely tell them, clear DGCA exams first, clear RTR, then only you start with your flight training.
Correct.
Because if you don't do it, then there's no point to waste time, because that 2 weeks he could have completed 10-15 hours.
Correct.
Okay, and not even take break from the flying. So it's always advisable to complete these papers and then only start flight training.
Correct. And DGCA exam preparation doesn't get complete in 1 week, to be honest.
Yeah.
It takes a dedicated time and focus and your attention to understand that particular topic, to solve multiple questions based on that topic, and that way you complete the whole subject, which includes many chapters. So, like for example, if you are considering navigation, there are about 45 to 50 chapters, and then those many chapters it takes approximately 2 to 3 months to complete the whole subject. If you are giving complete focused attention to each chapter, then solve its quizzes, solve its all the multiple choice questions based on that chapter, followed by that solve some the papers which were asked like in the previous DGCA exams, the questions, followed by that miscellaneous questions of all the chapters. So those kind of things you need to do it when you are doing a preparation, and that does not happen when you do your flight training, because it's just not possible. These two things don't go at the same time. So it's better to first get your computer number, get your medicals done, and once you get your class 1 medical done, first get class 2 medical done, followed by class 1, and in meantime finish your DGCA exams.
Yeah.
Okay? So that is the best option, and in meantime you can prepare yourself financially also for flight training, and make sure you prioritize clearing the DGCA exams before going for flight training. So you also know that yes, I have a knowledge to start this particular training. So you feel confident. That makes you, a little bit in a better position to start your training. Plus, the students who have completed their DGCA exams, they get priority, especially in the Indian flight schools, for flight training. So they will be finishing their flight training first, because the ones who have not completed papers have to wait anyway before they could proceed with their, checks. So their flight training is slower in the flight schools. So it's always better to quickly first clear your exams and thereafter go for flight training, so that also gets faster.
Yeah, so that is about the theory exams. And the next thing, which is about your mental and physical fatigue as a trainee pilot. So as we discussed that the reporting is early in the morning, and let's say before joining the flight school, we don't have a habit of waking up early. So that would be an added struggle. So we have to adjust our schedule. And if there is a night flight, we have to stay up late at night.
Correct.
So that is a routine which is difficult to adapt if someone is like not an early bird or a night owl. So we have to adjust accordingly according to our flights. And then the long wait hours at the airfield as well. So especially in India, like students report early in the morning, and until the evening they stay at the airfield waiting for their chance to fly. So waiting for such a long duration, 8 to 10 hours every day, can become tiring. Okay, there may or may not be proper shelter for students to rest at the airfield. So let's say if we are in the summer months, students can get dehydrated and then uh,
You need to keep
exhaust and
yourself
so
hydrated.
hydrated. So for that, always advisable to carry your lunch box, your water, electrolytes stuff, especially in the summer months.
Absolutely.
And and you are also under constant performance pressure. So every lesson you are expected something, like you have to be better than what you have performed in the previous lesson. So
Correct.
that is also an added pressure which can be a form of a struggle at the flight school.
Correct. So first of all, mental struggle starts from your medical itself.
Yeah.
One parameter in your blood report is not fitting in the normal range, and then you have to make sure that you do everything. And then let's say, for example, eosinophil, someone has a little bit cough, cold, eosinophil is high. You have to make sure you're completely fine and you're out of any kind of illness in order to get that in the normal range. Somebody has low hemoglobin, then you have to make sure that you have a proper iron rich diet in order to get that in the normal range. So that starts from your medical. Followed by that, when you go to the flight school, if someone, as we discussed, doesn't get the landing right, and if he fails one of the check ride, then he has to again undergo the training, corrective training, followed by that give a check ride. So some people might feel that, okay, am I fit for this profession? Am I going to make it all the way to the training? Can I finish this? So don't doubt yourself. You need to continuously and consistently improve yourself and make sure that the next flight is better than the previous one, or the next landing is better than the previous one. Or of course sometimes it can get little bad because of the weather conditions or because of the strong winds. So those kind of things, you need to make sure that you do it right by proper guidance from the instructor and training, as well as practicing it yourself. So this is something which you really have to overcome, and you have to stay confident during this process and not doubt yourself to the point that, okay, you just give it up. Okay, so you need to practice it. All right.
Yes, and this doubts and like feeling whether this is the right profession or something, this all comes when we compare with our batchmates.
Correct.
Okay, so let's say there will be someone ahead of you. Let's say if the whole batch of 15 students have started their flight training on the same day, there'll be someone who is way ahead. There will be someone who is way behind. Okay, so we can't compare ourselves to people who are like way ahead of us. The only person we can compare ourselves is ourselves.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
because we have to be just better than what we have done in the
Correct,
previous
correct,
flight, and
correct,
that's how we progress.
Absolutely.
So especially like students who are just out of 12, generally they get into the competition that I want to complete the CPL first in my batch. Okay, so if we have that kind of mindset, then the focus is on completing the CPL rather than learning what is the part of a CPL. So you can complete a CPL quickly, that is okay, but then you won't be learning everything in detail. So whenever you go for your airline interview or something, you have to restart your learning from scratch because you have
Correct.
missed out a lot of things,
Correct.
and you have to learn them again for the airline interview or
Correct.
any other job you are applying for.
Right, absolutely. So you really have to, be consistent with your training, and that goes on, your CPL flight training, followed by that your type rating, followed by that your airline training, that goes on till then.
Yeah.
And once you finish airline training, then you settle down as a first officer, and then the command training or captain's training, that is also there further. So training and learning is a continuous process as long as you are a pilot.
Yes, and then I've also seen students comparing themselves on Instagram. So now, as you know, like everyone likes to share their achievements on Instagram. That is valid. Like, I mean, why should we not share our achievement with our loved ones? That's fine. But now, let's say if some student is comparing himself with other students who have completed this training in 8 to 12 months. So now that person will say, okay, this guy completed his training in 8 months and I'm not even done with 100 hours in 8 months. So what am I doing? Is my performance okay? Is this profession good for me? Am I doing good enough? So these are normal human questions which can come in anyone's mind. So what we do is so instead of comparing, we just wish him good luck. Okay, that's a great achievement. And you get back to your own training. You don't compare anyone else's progress with your progress, okay? Because everyone has different pace of learning. So there's no need to feel that I'm left behind.
Correct. Some people might get their solo little early than you. That is absolutely fine. Some people may get it at 20 hours. Some people may get it at 25 hours, or maybe some get at 15 hours. So it depends on everybody's performance and individual progress. So you just have to compare yourself the previous day than what you are the next day. You need to have an improvement every other day going forward. You cannot be at the same stage, then you are not improving. So you need to continuously improve yourself. That is important. This is with respect to flight skill, as well as with respect to knowledge, as well as any life skill, I would say. So that is important to keep in mind.
Yes, and some students also believe that the instructor which they have, okay, that is causing a delay in their flight training.
Yes.
My instructor is not good enough. That's why I'm delayed in my flight training. So I want to change the instructor. Give me some instructor who will just pass me or something like that. So that's what I have seen when I was in US. So generally when you perform well, the instructor has no issues in promoting you to the next lesson. But when there is something lacking, the instructor may ask you for a review flight to improve that particular maneuver.
Right.
So yeah, so I've seen like students asking for instructor change because they are not, I mean, the instructor might have given him a review lesson.
Correct.
And they are like, okay, I'm good enough, and I don't know why he giving me a review lesson.
Right.
So that can also happen. So they go speak with the management and then get the instructor changed. And then once you have a new instructor, so that instructor is starting from you after you have completed 10, 15, 20%, whatever is the number of flight. So that instructor will also need certain hours with you to trust you if you're planning, if your solo is due any point of time.
Correct.
So if you are like, if you have your solo flight, your first solo flight in near future, let's say after 5-10 hours, there's no point to change your flight instructor, because that instructor, the new instructor, will have to do at least 15, 20, 25 hours to know how you are as a pilot. How is your performance. Okay, so that is there. And when we speak about the solo, the first solo, which is the most important part of a pilot's life, so everyone is bit nervous, okay, want to feel confident that okay, I can do it, and then the pressure is there. Okay, so that is one of the major challenge to overcome that pressure. So in that moment when you are going for your first solo, you just have to calm yourself down, take things slowly, don't rush to it. Okay, follow your SOP. Once you are two red, two whites, okay, just go down with your approach speed and everything will be fine.
Correct. You have to make sure you don't miss out on anything. You have to be completely vigilant, because you are the only one in that aircraft.
Yeah.
And that is something you really have to make sure that you're doing it right. And yes, 2 whites, 2 reds is basically PAPI, which is a precision approach path indicator, which is installed at the airports to indicate whether an aircraft is flying above or below the normal approach path of 3 degree, which is a standard descent angle on approach. So that is something which you have to make sure that you are safe, the aircraft will be safe, and then the passengers will be safe if there are any once you go on commercials. So
Yes.
you're never ready, no one is ready, for the first solo, or I would say, to understand, okay, no one is ready to start their passenger flight for the first time, but you have to get that confidence, and you have to make sure that, okay, yes, you are going to do everything correct in the cockpit, and that will make things safe for you as well as for the aircraft as well as for the passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about the instructor thing, like change of instructor, if a student thinks that it's not going well with the instructor, the personality, there's a mismatch or something, you can always request a change of instructor, but make sure that's the last resort, uh, because changing instructors is not a good thing according to me. I mean, if you're not really gelling up with the instructor, or if there's anything intentional that the instructor is doing, then definitely you can request a change of instructor. But yeah, so this were the struggles which a student pilot can face during their flight training phase.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we try to cover the challenges which we face during our flight training. And yeah, if you are in your flight training phase and you are facing any struggle which is not discussed by us in this podcast, you can definitely let us know in the comment section, and we'd like to help you out as well.
Absolutely. So if you have any issues, if you are undergoing your ground training or even the later part of the flight training, then we will try our level best to give you an advice or any kind of solution that can work for you. Thank you so much for watching this podcast. We hope you got a good insight about this flight training challenges. So if you want to minimize these challenges, as we discussed, that you should be first clearing your DGCA exams and medicals, followed by RT, and thereafter go for flight training. And here at CNTAA, we train the students in a way that you get the great amount of knowledge, and we have an amazing result in the DGCA exams to tell you. In the January attempt, in Jan 2026, we had Vansh Alwani, who scored 99 out of 100, which is highest ever in navigation in India. And that is something which we are really proud of, to give the best of the knowledge and complete knowledge as much as we can to our students in order to complete and clear their DGCA exams, and that will help you going forward as well. Thank you so much for watching this podcast, and you can connect with us if you are willing to clear your DGCA exams, and we will help you with. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this podcast until here, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Space, like the other fun.